Hey guys, I'm the AVID Altruist, Alicya, and this episode of Postsecondary Preparation will be discussing how to study more effectively and feel more confident with rigorous courses. I struggled with transitioning from all honors classes to just 2 AP classes because it's a much more rigorous and complex program that I wasn't familiar with after moving schools. My schedule had to change drastically, and extracurriculars were really difficult to balance, so I had to slow down on sports and clubs that year. I also took early college classes in the second semester, which was kind of a bad idea because I was a bit overwhelmed with AP exams and final projects that were all due in May. Now, I'll quickly go over the types of rigorous courses and how to manage your time and studying with them because trust me, you will need to prepare. These, for me, were basically more in-depth and faster-paced regular classes. Like, for example, a regular math class would have 1 assignment per day and 2 weeks per unit, but an honors class would have 2 to 3 assignments per day and 1 week per unit. I have a love-hate relationship with AP classes because it helps so much for your future and prepares you really well for college, but it's also really stressful while you're taking the class. AP classes are ultimately college-level classes where everything is much more fast-paced and there's so much content to study and understand. That also depends on the class though. These are also the classes that boost your GPA above a 4.0. This is because they have a 5-point grading scale. I personally took AP Language and Composition and got a 4 out of 5 on my exam, and it was much easier because English was one of the harder subjects for me. I was so scared of getting anything less than an A to ruin my GPA that I worked and practiced so much to do well in that class. My teacher also did really well in preparing my class for the exam and made us take practice exams and essays really early in the semester so we could get a feel of it. AP US History. I cried multiple times, but guess what? It was so worth all my hard work, and I also really enjoyed learning history. I watched Heimler's History during chores and before I slept. I read 30 pages and took notes every week. I highlighted and literally romanticized being an academic weapon, and guess what? I also got a 4 out of 5 on my exam. Also, I couldn't take the AP classes I wanted this year since, again, I'm an early graduate and had to take prerequisite courses. My school also doesn't have honors classes, so I didn't really have another option. But please, if you're going to choose an AP class, choose a subject that you enjoy and aligns with your major or career. This will make it so much easier and much more beneficial to your college. These are usually online classes from colleges nearby your city that collaborate with your school. Some classes require your attendance, which are synchronous classes, and some just need you to get your work done without going to any of the meetings, which are asynchronous classes. For me, early college classes were really easy and the ones that I took were fun. I just wanted to try it out for the high school elective credits, and I could possibly use these as elective credits for college. Some of the early college classes can actually boost your GPA over a 4.0 like AP classes, but be sure to check with your counselor about that first. Again, take the classes that you are interested and align with your major. One of the most useful and prominent things I use to keep track of things that I need to do and my time is my agenda or planner. I use highlighters to make it colorful and nice to remember, you know? There are several ways to study for your classes or your final exams, but I'm just going to show you 3 of the main ones that I used and really helped me in the long run. First, Feynman technique. It's basically simplifying complex information until you can explain it to like an 8-year-old, and this really helps with history or science. Number 2, active recall. Basically looking over all your notes or what you've learned every once a week until you can recite everything from your mind. You can use sites like Quizlet and Gizmo to review your notes. This works best for vocabulary or formulas you need to remember in your head for an exam, like math, science, and history. The Pomodoro technique is a third study method, and you basically set a timer for 25 minutes to study, then take a 5-minute break, and repeat until you finish studying. This really helps with burnout or if you just feel unmotivated to study. The SAT and ACT are essentially college admissions exams that test you on the basic subjects in school. The SAT is about a 2-hour test, unless you do writing, on English and math. I did a lot better on the SAT than the ACT because it was more lenient with time and I had better resources to prepare for it. Schoolhouse SAT Bootcamp is a really helpful program that basically tutors you a month before your exam. There's like a meeting 2 times a week and you can choose the most convenient times and stuff. It's also taught by high school seniors that ace their SAT exams, so don't be intimidated. The ACT is like 3 hours, and this was harder for me because you have to do math, reading, and science. And I just really struggled with time, so I missed a lot of questions. If you do better under time pressure, then this is for you. Studying for AP classes, it's definitely a lot harder if you don't pay attention in class or if you don't take the studying or the assignments seriously. Like, what you do in class throughout the whole year is to prepare you for the final exam. So for me, in AP US History, Heimler's History is a dude on YouTube that really, oh my gosh, he is so helpful. He also goes over world history and AP Gov and basically all AP history related subjects. For English, it's not really about content, but just practice, so make sure to search online for full practice exams and do them regularly throughout the year with timers. I promise that this will ensure that you are ready for the exam in May. Overall tips, do not cram. Trust me, it's not that hard to spend like 30 minutes every day just to review your notes. That's all I have for this episode. Please feel free to email me or comment on any questions or feedback you have about my videos. I'll post more soon. Bye!